Hello and welcome to the tricky second album, or another vlog, the second vlog to be precise. So first of all, I'm in the Gfinity office right now. It's quite late, so I'm just recording this because one of the things I wanted to do, the reason I'm making YouTube videos, is to kind of answer a lot of questions, get a lot off my chest. One of the questions I'm constantly asked is, how did you become a caster? Well, good thing you asked. So I'm going to explain it. I'm also going to do a few more of these videos. Like, I know the follow-up is, how do I become a caster? Because my story is not the normal progression. So I'm going to talk about that, so don't worry about too much about that. I'm going to talk about that. A few other things I've got lined up. I've got a few vlogs lined up, taking some advice from some YouTubers. So I'll be doing some sort of gameplay. No, I'm joking. I'm not going to do a gameplay. Not yet, anyway, until I get good at games. So how did I become a caster? Let's get into it. So, I got into competitive gaming because I love the intensity, the thrill, and the buzz of it. All the reasons that I'm a fan today is the reason I got into it. Basically, I started going to a great place in Colchester, my hometown, called Extreme Gaming. It's a gaming centre. Went there first of all, and just so you know, I used to be a bit of a Halo player. That's how I kind of first got involved. Halo CE. So I played a bit of Halo there, then I got involved with COD 4, and basically, like, I used to go compete, and they used to do free-for-alls. I used to win free-for-all tournaments quite regularly in there. I did a little bit of a pro team, knowing nothing about pro gaming at the time. Ended up doing a lot of work with them. It's still, you know, one of my fondest memories working with those guys. I still regularly go there. Whenever I'm home, I go in. I go to my main man Arthur Tommy, who is not only one of my best friends, but easily one of the best guys I know, and he's just amazing. And this was specifically for you, Arthur. So I'll know whether or not you've actually watched this video, because if you haven't watched it, then I'll know. Haha. So I started working there. I went to events. I started organising all kinds of stuff. It's where I kind of cut my teeth. Now, I was competing with this team that I formed at Extreme Gaming. And not very well, bearing in mind that at the time I was working a full-time job. I was kind of helping out with Extreme, had a girlfriend, had a social life. I didn't have a lot of time to practice. I didn't really understand at the time, but I loved competing, so I went to compete. Didn't do well. So eventually I kind of come on board as a community manager. I was doing stuff like community management. I went to a lot of game launches in London, and that's where I was introduced by an acquaintance of both mine and Paul Kent's to Paul Kent. Who, if you don't know Paul Kent, first of all, he's now otherwise goes as Melmoth, but he's also my boss now. So it's kind of interesting the way this works. And basically, I met Paul Kent. He said, "Oh, you know, we need some help at the next event I do, WGL I-45." It was. I was like, "Yeah, this sounds great." I must have mentioned a little bit about casting, but I don't remember it myself. I just remember offering to help out. But obviously, it was. Enough of an impression was made on Paul that he called me up. Now, Paul actually called me in typical Paul fashion 2 days before the event. I hadn't heard a lot after that. He's like, "Do you want to come down and help out?" Then I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah? So, and I remember quite clearly because I was busy editing a video from EGL5 at the time. Now, I ended up dropping everything, ended up convincing a mate to go with me as well, because I didn't really know, so I bought a BYOC ticket, went all off my own back, which is, how I competed as well. So I managed to get the time off work and went, and I thought I'd just be helping out. Maybe I'd do a cast or two if I get lucky, because I've done a few online casts that hadn't gone great, because I didn't really know what I was doing, I didn't know any casting technique, and I hadn't cast with anybody. So, get to my series. Now for the first time, I meet Alex Gooch, who remains a good friend of mine. I love the man to bits. He's now a professional trainer. So I meet him, and alright, I'm going to tell you this story. The first time I met Gooch, I've always been I used to be famously bad at first impressions. And I did the same thing with Gooch. Now, back in those days, I was still quite the socialite. What on earth have I just said? Anyway, I liked a few drinks. Now, I was a bit nervous. Going to cast because Rail wasn't there. Now, Rail not being there meant I was going to be casting with Gooch most of the Friday. Yeah, it was Friday, Saturday back in those days. So we went to get a drink, introduced, "How you doing? All right, that sort of stuff." And I said, he went and got, like a water for casting. I went and got 2 Strongbow. Now, looking back, I remember his face very clearly. Where he goes, "Are you going to be all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be fine." This probably didn't put him at ease at all. But yeah, so I went and casted with Gooch. It was great. I've always loved casting with Gucci, and basically, like, I was really nervous for about 45 minutes to an hour. I kept stuttering, but I was getting positive feedback, and that really kind of just pushed me. I was like, I can do this, loving this, and I found like all my passion for esports and for competitive gaming. Just I could put it all in. I could put everything in that I knew, that I learned, and just keep kind of pumping it through. Now, that for me was fantastic. The fact I could still watch these in games, I can get involved, intensity, you know, I was just so happy. The same things I feel today. The reason I'm still a fan and the reason I love casting is because I am a fan. And that's why I like to kind of try and, you know, do the hard work and provide. Now, cast the first day, I think it was fairly successful. It wasn't the best casting thing. In fact, it was probably one of my worst. Second day, Rel turns up. The Rel. Or Oliver Whitfield, to you and me. Obviously, Rel, big name in the casting scene at that time. Still a big name in the casting scene. Very good friend of mine now as well. He turned up, and now this is where Rel gets annoyed, because if you tell Rel that he turned up and was hungover enough that he slept in the casting room all week, he'll get ratty. What actually happened, and I, thank you, Rel. Will thank me for this. Rel got food poisoning. So on the Saturday, Rel had food poisoning, and basically, if I'm here, Rel is down here on the floor, and he is sleeping for a good 6 hours. He was out cold. He was ill, and you got to be ill when you're in like just sleeping on the floor on a hoodie, my hoodie, because you're that ill. And I just cast all day. I cast all day with Gooch, and it was fantastic, and I enjoyed it. I loved it. Rel eventually jumped up for the final, glory hog. But Rel didn't jump. Rel jumped up because he was a little bit nervous that people were going to have a go at him for not casting, because he was a big fan favourite. And he didn't want to let people. This is the great thing about Rel. Rel doesn't like to let people down ever. So same today as he was then. He's like, I've got to cast. I can't, let the VP Brothers fans down. I don't want to let Paul down. I haven't cast anything. So we went and did the final. From there, I did a lot of online work. I did 13-hour shifts casting. I just kept plugging at it. Yes, I'll do this. I'll do Vanity Cups. Big shout out to Vanity, by the way. Without their cups back in the days, I probably wouldn't be casting now. And they're a great organisation. So I did a lot of work then, and I applied the same thing I've always kind of tried to apply here. Be the person you want to be, and work hard. So at one point I ended up started wearing shirts. I did my research. I made my notes. Things that I still like to do today. Got to make sure you do these things, and that's how I kind of got into it. Like I said, I got a lucky break, and I've got to be so thankful for it. I'm now working for the same person who gave me that lucky break. He said, "Look, I want you to come on again." So fantastic. So that's kind of the story of how I got into it. I was originally going to be like a community manager. I still love all that, but yeah, it was one of those where I got a little bit lucky break, but it was because I kept plugging away. It's because I knew people in the industry, because I've been working in the industry. Now, I wasn't, it wasn't like I was being paid loads of money to work in the industry. I was doing that and a job and a girlfriend and social life and everything. And I'm going to cover in the next video about how you can become a caster and what you need to do. So there you go. There's my story. I've been asked this a lot, and it's I usually give answers. I've given like full answers on Twitter before. It's so hard to do that in 140 characters. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you kind of understand. If you've got any questions and stuff that I've missed out, because I've recorded this 3 times because I've left the microphone off twice, please put it in the comments below. Drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, because there'll be loads more of this coming out. I really want to interact with the people who follow me on Twitter. My Twitter's at Bricetacular, by the way. I want to kind of keep talking to people. I want you guys to feel like you can just ask stuff. I'm going to be doing stuff with the comments anyway. But there you go. This video is... it's not bad. If you stuck with me to the end, thank you very much. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.